Hey YouTube, Big Noah here today. I'm going to be doing a live read through and live reaction of the 3.20 patch notes. I have not gone through it yet, so I'm just going to be reading it kind of out loud and talking about my thoughts. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so challenge leagues are a great opportunity. All of your old characters, blah blah blah. The Forbidden Sanctum is a roguelike that takes place in PoE. You'll explore the Templar Sanctum, which is rumored to be hidden beneath the Felshire ruins. Long abandoned, a malevolent presence has taken hold. In each area of raid class you play through, you will have the opportunity to explore one room of the Sanctum as you search for treasures. And Ruthless, I might test that out later in the league. I know I'm a little late. I haven't got to test it yet. Okay. Yeah. So this is explaining Ruthless, right? This is additional character creation flag alongside Hardcore and SSF that allows you to opt into extreme item scarcity and various other changes. Frozen Legion, I did see that. That looks pretty cool. This spell consumes multiple cooldown uses to summon icy statues in a ring. Each statue uses Frozen Sweep attack once before vanishing. Requires an axe, mace, scepter, or staff. Skill cannot be triggered, supported by Spellco or Unleash, or used by Totem Traps Mines. Frozen Seat is used by your statues to deal damage in an area around them while stepping forward. The skill cannot repeat and can only be used by statues. Wait, what? The skill cannot repeat and can only be used by statues from Frozen Legion. Add a new strength skill gem. Boys. This shit looks sick. Volcanic Fissure. Slam the ground, creating a winding fissure that deals area damage while traveling outwards. When it reaches the target location and erupts, releasing a burst of molten projectiles. Requires an axe, mace, scepter, or unarmed. Cursed Ground. Supportive skills create cursed ground. Enemies on the cursed ground from a supportive skill are cursed with that hex. Interesting. Added a new intelligence gem, Hex Bloom. Hexes from supportive skills are transferred to all enemies within a certain distance when the hexed enemy dies. Very interesting. Val Cleave, Val Flicker, Val Blade Flurry, Val Venom Gyre, Val Molten Strike, Val Caustic Arrow, Val Volcanic Fissure, and Val Smite. Introduce the Fracturing Orb, which can be used to fracture a random modifier on a rare with at least 4 modifiers, locking it in place. This cannot be used on influenced, synthesized, or fractured items. Fracturing Shards, which is shards for the orb. Added 15 new uniques, 1 designed by a supporter, and 3 designed by winners of a boss kill events. Added 10 div cards, 5 of which were designed by our forwarders, and 5 were designed by winners of boss kill events. Added 2 new Atlas memories themed around Domination and Bestiary, which include 9 new beast crafting recipes. Hell yeah. The Calandra's Touch unique rune has been added to the core drop pool. Grand and Exceptional Eldritch Ichors have received new art, so they're more distinguishable. Nice. Okay. Maven Witness map bosses now have a chance to drop Awakened Gems, inclusive of the Awakened Gems that are typically exclusive to Maven herself. Nice. The following maps have been added back to the Atlas. Oh, Burial Chambers, nice. Channel, nice. Meh. Meh. Haunted Mansion, that's nice. Iceberg, nice. Really nice on Iceberg. Spider Lair, nice. Toxic Sewer, let's go. Cells, thank fucking lord. Nice, get rid of Fungal Hollow. No more Mud Geyser, Pog. Race Course, RIP. Okay, map tiers location have been shuffled through the though the pin locations for maps has not changed. Most maps are now initially found at a different tier. Some of the map bosses you are required to defeat to upgrade your Pantheon have changed as a result of these Atlas changes. Okay, crafting recipes that were previously unlocked. The maps have been moved. Nice. Some div cards found new homes. Okay. Anything important here? Buried treasures, garbage. Asenath. Nurse can be in carcass. Interesting. The Akil's Prophecy div card has been enabled and now awards a double corrupted, unique, elegant round shield. Now awards a tainted mythic orb. Asenath's mark. The ultimate aspect, hell yeah. Okay. Monster mods and arch nemesis. Problem: arch nemesis monster mods each added a number of stats and buffs to monsters, causing them to feel overwhelming and confusing, especially when multiple mods were present on the same monster. Monster mods now only do one specific thing. Here's an example. The Magma Barrier Arch Nemesis mod did a whole lot of stuff. It started by putting a magma barrier around the monster, but it didn't stop there. It converted some of the monster's fizz damage to fire, added some extra fire damage on top, granted fire rest to the monster, gave some new physical damage reduction for Good Measure. It also spawned volatile flame bloods to follow you. The new equivalent modifier just puts a magma barrier around the monster and does nothing else. Interesting. Problem: keyworded thematic monster mod names gave an impression of the overall effect of the mod on the monster, but did not explain what they granted, requiring players to memorize them. Monster mods now say exactly what they do. For example, rather than Incendiary, which broke down into 6 properties, you'd see a monster with either ignites or fire and ignite resistant instead of Deadeye, which did 5 separate things. You now see applies random mark, extra crits, or accurate as separate, unrelated mods. The percentage of Arch Nemesis mods that significantly changed gameplay was high, and combination of modifiers that required careful play arose too frequently, making content too complex. Since each mod now only does a single thing, but monsters don't have more mods than they used to, the percentage of monsters with gameplay altering effects is now much lower. Interesting and challenging emergent behavior from overlapping mods can still happen, just less often. The way Arch Nemesis rewards were set up meant that players felt they couldn't just kill a monster, they had to consider if they wanted to bring a magic find character to maximize the rewards. Players are no longer required to do annoying actions to maximize rewards. In Arch Nemesis, rewards were associated with individual mods. This meant that you could tell what kind of rewards you would get in advance. In some cases, you were then effectively required to fetch a magic find calling character to make sure that you maximize the value of the monster mod that you had found. In other cases, you would ignore a monster completely if you knew it would only drop rewards that were of no value to you. In the new system, we have added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod, so you don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill the monster. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward mods. The new reward system smooths out spikiness that Arch Nemesis reward systems had. So, I really like that change, because I really don't like the magic find, get as much magic find in quantity on a character as you can while still doing enough damage. I don't like that minigame. That's not a minigame that should be in the game. So I really do like this change. Okay, so the original motivation for developing ArchNem was that previous monster mod systems were very out of date. Many mods didn't have any appreciable effect on modern balance, and there wasn't a lot of interesting gameplay possible. In our opinion, Arch Nemesis did succeed at adding a lot of new interesting mechanics to rares, but introduced the problems described above. While creating the new monster mods described, we were careful to retain most of the interesting mechanics that Arch Nemesis introduced, but in a way that doesn't include a grab bag of other effects and is diluted by many other simpler mods. So overall, I think this is a really good change. I'm really happy with this. Oh no. Are they nerfing altars? Eldritch altars are currently too rewarding. Fuck my life. So much that they create a disincentive for any out of map gameplay unless it's comparably rewarding. True. We've lightly nerfed their total rewards and updated them in various other ways that will outline below. While it is fair to say that you can no longer min-max into rewards in such an extreme way, they will still be quite rewarding. Duplicated gems, influence items, unique items, gems, and maps. This means that other reward types will take their place and naturally be more common. Altars no longer offer a choice for basic currency, but instead offer choices for specific currency. For example, instead of seeing altars that say map boss drops 3 basic currency items, you now see altars that say things like map drops 3 val orbs. Currency rewards from influence minions no longer drop in stacks larger than 1. Currency rewards from influenced minions no longer drop in stacks larger than 1. Why? That just means that we have to click more. Okay. Some of the more common but very low value rewards such as Augs and Transmutes, Whetstones, Scraps could no longer be offered as part of the basic currency reward. Okay. Similarly, instead of offering choices for Scarabs or Divination cards as a category, they're now more specific. For example, rather than say div cards, you'll see like Divination cards which rewards unique jewelry. That's a pretty hefty nerf, I think. These specified currency Scarab and div card rewards will be split so that they're exclusive to one altar type. This means that if you're targeting a specific reward type, you'll be able to figure out which influence type to invest into in order to farm that reward. The rewards that still remain are currency, scarabs, div cards, duplicate, currency, unique, scarabs, maps, div cards, and quantity and rarity. To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by Eater or World, you'll see divine orbs from the basic currency rewards more than twice as often as before. Interesting. On the whole, scarabs will be offered a lot less than before from altars. However, we don't want them to be too scarce in general. As such, we're adding rested scarabs to the core drop pool. Interesting. We're also adding a vendor recipe that can be used to upgrade scarabs between tiers using the 3-to-1 up to gilded. We are adding an upgrade button in the fragment stash tab that can upgrade your scarabs in this way, similar to the upgrade in the essence tab. Interesting. Problem. Players currently have an incentive to skip past all regular map monsters to kill the map boss first. The motivation for doing this is so the altars, which offer rewards affecting the map boss, are less desirable. By killing the boss first, you eliminate these options from your map altars, which makes them more rewarding. This is one of those cases where the most efficient and rewarding gameplay strategy undermines the expected gameplay loop and encourages players to do things that aren't really fun. I agree. We are making it so you cannot do this. That's the solution, basically. Let's see. We are making a few numerical changes to alter rewards so that choices that affect boss drops or influence monsters drops are more comparably valuable, though boss drop rewards will be slightly better on average than Eldritch minion rewards. Okay. Eldritch influence added a huge amount of extra monsters to maps. This is one of the main factors that makes it harder for players to justify doing Maven Witness maps or non-map content, as their rewards struggle to compete. The amount of influence packs, okay, so overall, it used to spawn exactly 60 packs in a map. Now it's going to spawn between 20 and 60 packs per map. It's a pretty substantial nerf. Let's see. Okay, that's basically saying that so it's only going to have a pool of 3 different monster types in each pack. Wrath of the Cosmos was OP as shit. Yeah, in some cases it made more sense to die a few times per map than forego the level of rewards this keystone offered. We have redesigned this keystone and now has Eldritch Altars influenced by Searing have 50% chance to have an additional upside, and Eldritch Altars influenced by Searing, which have an additional upside, have a 100% increased effect of downsides. It no longer has any of its former stats. Overall risk versus reward nature of the keystone in some place, it's just a lot less intense now. Yeah, the 25% damage taken increase was absurd. Shouldn't be necessary to travel to the opposite influence cluster in order to maximize your reward from one specific influence altar. Alongside the change, the Wrath of Cosmos, we also changed Eldritch Gate's keystone so it only affects altars and maps influenced by Eater of Worlds. The main reason for this is that we want you to invest in Atlas passives to influence type you're currently farming. Nice. The small passives near the keystone are already specific to the influence types, and it's nice and tidy to keep things consistent in this way. This is a nerf to how much you can scale your rewards from these keystones if you're one of the subset of players who were taking both keystones in the past. Apparently, I and most of the population were a subset. Yeah, it says they should still be viable sources of rewards. I don't know. This is pretty rough, I think, for mapping. Like if you only map. But let's keep going. Currently, Atlas Passive Tree creates pressure to only run pinnacle boss content when you spec into Atlas passes that will maximize your rewards. Hoarding as much of a given type of content as you can before running it and speccing back out of it. Yes, I'm pretty sure everyone does this, right? We've removed the Atlas passes that increase the amount of rewards from limited content such as Shaper, Elder, Searing, Eater, and Maven. The purpose of this is such that you should be able to engage with this content at any time. We want to improve on the concept that the Atlas tree allows players to invest in the leagues that they enjoy, and have added new clusters to the passive tree for league content that can be blocked through Atlas passive skills. We've also increased the chances for such league content to appear. Nice. Existing clusters have also been tweaked with the goal of making them more of an attractive option. In addition, we've added a new keystone passive that causes scarabs using your map device to provide increased pack size rather than their usual modifier. Whoa. We've added a new keystone passive that causes scarabs using your map device to provide increased pack size. Interesting. Okay, so jewels. We're expanding the pool of mods available in Magic and rare jewels and making the modifier values more generous so that players have better access to sources of ailment mitigation with less investment. Regular jewels, i.e. jewels that are not Abyss or Cluster jewels, now have mods that provide reduced duration or reduced effect of a wider variety of ailments than before. Abyss jewels now have mods that provide avoidance in various ailments. I've also changed monster-inflicted sources of chill and shock effect to be multiplicative rather than additive. Whoa. We've also changed monster-inflicted sources of chill and shock effect to be multiplicative. That's rough. Rather than additive. This allows sources of reduced effect ailments to be able to be stacked and provide immunity. I see. Roll on regular jewels. Duration? On Abyss Jewel. Okay, so they got buffed on Abyss Jewels. Nice. The Abyss Jewel modifier that provide a chance to avoid being frozen chilled now only provide a chance to avoid being frozen. That's kind of a silly change. And same with here. Many unique jewels are not exciting, true. There are a few reasons for this. In most cases, they are simply underpowered or apply to a too narrow window of usage, or both. There are also many corruption-only jewels that don't fulfill a good purpose. Previously, we were hesitant to revisit unique jewels and improve them beyond their initial designs, because many of their themes are somewhat rigid in nature, meaning there's little room to improve them without completely remaking them. An example of this is their Fireborn Crimson Jewel. It has no values that we can increase to make it more useful. It simply changes the damage type within a radius, which has a very limited opportunity for use. Any improvements we can make to this jewel would have to fundamentally change its identity, and would therefore essentially remove the jewel in its current form from PoE. We're making it so that every unique jewel drops is very rare. This means that many existing unique jewels have been removed from the drop pool. The intention is that now when you find a unique jewel, it should almost always be a very positive experience. To help make jewel drops special, we designed a new set of unique jewels that are powerful chase items. These can drop from the quadruple. With that said, there are many unique jewels that are still useful for a subset of players because they had build enabling modifiers or other very niche uses like improved force or other attribute transformation jewels. Instead of getting rid of these, we've made them corruption only unique jewels. We feel this has benefits for level players who want them and players who don't, as generally players who don't want them won't come across them, and players who do want them can still actively pursue them. Okay. Some build enabling unique jewels can now be found from more deterministic sources throughout PoE. One example is combat focus, which can now be obtained through a vendor recipe. All you vendor recipe chasers, now's your chance. Some other build enabling jewels that affect golems can no longer drop. But whoa. Some other build enabling jewels that affect golems can no longer drop, but can be found from another more deterministic source. While we want you to discover this new source on your own during gameplay, we will say for clarity that these jewels do not come from vendor recipes. Heist, maybe? Taking a drink. The availability of existing unique jewels has been reviewed, and many, including replica versions, can no longer be obtained. Rest in peace, replica conquers efficiency. The following existing unique jewels are able to be found as item drops. Inspired Learning, Intuitive Lead, Blind Eyes Fall, ooh. Might of the Meek, Pure Talent, Unending Hunger, ooh. Unnatural Instinct, ooh. The following unique jewels can only be obtained as Corruption, Brute Force, Chill Corruption, Efficient Training, Energized Armor, Energy from Within, Fortress Covenant, interesting. Healthy Mind, interesting. Hidden Potential, Inertia, what? Rain of Splinters too? Soul Wick, To Dust. Okay, so all the minion gems basically. Replica, Primordial Might, and Replica, Reckless Defense are only replica jewels that are still able to be obtained. Okay. Primordial Might, Harmony, and Eminence are no longer in the core drop pool and are now found from another more deterministic source. Added 6 new vendor recipes for Dead Reckoning. Yeah, wow. Endless Misery, Spirit Guards, and 3 combat focus unique jewels. Happy hunting. Ancient Orbs in the Altar Sacrifice and the Temple of Azadal can no longer be used on unique jewels, flashcard maps. The bestiary recipe that creates a unique jewel has been changed. Now it creates a rare talisman. That is terrible. We've also rebalanced some unique jewels and compensated for the loss of specific jewels in the form of new modifiers or skill changes. Added Helm enchant for Spark and EK that cause projectiles to file in a circle. The Spark projectile speed helmet enchants and EK have been removed. Spark projectile speed? I mean, you always want Spark has extra projectiles, right? Like, you would never choose Spark fires in a circle over extra projectiles, but okay. Frost's Blades has 100% increased effect of added damage, previously 100, scaling up to 225. At 20, previous 175. No longer has 0 to 19 increased prot speed. Quality on Frost Blades no longer provides... Okay, so what does it provide? Okay. I mean, that's a pretty sizable buff, but no flat damage, so that's kind of lame. Quality on Divergent Summon Skeletons now provides -1 seconds to cooldown and summons 0 to 4 Skeleton Warriors. Previously, minions have 0% chance to maim enemies on hit. Okay, so that's kind of cool. It's more deterministic way to get skeletons instead of the other way. I think it's on a helmet, unique helmet. The Spirit Guard's unique jewel has, with at least 40 dex, and a weapon can animate 20 range weapons, previously 12. Okay, interesting. Pure Talent provides mini skills have 20% in AoE, previously 15. When your passive tree connects with Marauder starting location. Okay, 10% increased AoE. That's not terrible. 2 to 3 mana wait, added 2 prefix modifiers that can roll on jewels. Prefix? Holy crap. Oh man. That is nutty. Okay. Yes, finding a unique jewel is still an exciting experience. Unique jewels will no longer be offered as quest rewards. Okay, so all this basically says they removed all the unique jewels from quest rewards. Curses. Okay, so hex spells are at their weakest against monsters where they matter the most. That's true. Curses are terrible on bosses generally. This is partly because hexes have hidden penalties, which reduce their effectiveness, of course. Currently 33 on unique monsters and 66 on pinnacle bosses. It's normal. Why is it 30? Why is it more? Okay. It's normal for these monsters to have hidden penalties, as noting every single one would create a lot of clutter in their mod descriptions. Players can reasonably expect these monsters to be more difficult to fight, so in general, showing the entire list of penalties is not very necessary. However, the penalty against hexes is an outlier because it is much more significant compared to other hidden penalties. Because it is so substantial while also being hidden for players, it is unlikely to be compensated for during build creation and creates a notable disadvantage for hex builds. We have removed both of these penalties so that hexes will be consistently effective against all monsters in the game. Interesting. Pinnacle bosses, map bosses, Incursion Architects, Betrayal, Breach Lords, and others no longer have 33% or 66% less effect of curses on them respectively. Another issue that we feel undermines hex builds is the Doom mechanic. We designed Doom with the goal of making self-cast hexes more effective than other more trivial application of hexes, such as Blasphemy and Hex Touch support gems. The Doom mechanic was somewhat successful in its goal, but came at the cost of adding a lot of complexity to hex-related mechanics. We're removing Doom, and as a consequence, we'll be making several other changes to mechanics than previously interacted with Doom. For example, all stats that reference Doom have been replaced with other curse themed stats. Curse Mastery grants 20% chance for hexes you cast, which can gain Doom to be applied. 30% increased mana reservation efficiency of Curse Aura skills have been replaced. The mana reservation mastery has been replaced, as there is now a much larger amount of mana reservation for Cursed Auras on the passive tree. You take 40% reduced extra damage from crit strikes by cursed enemies, while the second provides recover 1% of life when you curse a non-cursed enemy, and recover 1% of mana when you curse a non-cursed enemy. I kind of want to play curses. Existing curse passive skills have been fully reworked. There are now 6 curse clusters on the passive tree. The Vampirism cluster has moved location on the passive tree to make space for a new curse cluster and add to become more accessible to the witch starting location. The Whispers of Doom notable passive skill continues to give you can apply initial curse. It now has a much larger selection of smaller passive nodes, leading to this 5% ink effect of curse. Curse skills have 10% cast speed, 50% AoE, 10% mana reservation. That's pretty nice. And curse duration. The Malicious Intent notable, which gives +2, the cluster has now 15% curse duration and 5%, not 50, sorry, 5% effect of your curses. 100% chance to remove elemental ailments when you cast a curse spell. Curse skills have 10% increased cast speed. Nice. This is pretty huge. So basically, the cursed enemies you kill are destroyed, and provides enemies cursed by you have 50% reduced life regen, which is nice for like Arch Nemesis, which also got nerfed, right? So it's even more nice. I mean, I guess you could argue it's less nice, right? Because now it's not as needed, but recovery is pretty huge. 50% increased AoE, that's huge. 20% mana reservation of curse, and 20% reduced mana cost of curse skills. This cluster, 15% ink AoE of hex skills, 10% mana res, and 10% reduced cost. Nice. 5% ink effect of your curses. Quality on Divergent Impending Doom support. No longer has 0 to negative 25% more damage with hits per 5 Doom on Hex. Instead, it now has 0 to 40% reduced CDR, or reduced cooldown recovery rate. Curse has 0 to 40% increased Doom gain rate. Instead, now has 0 to 20% increased curse duration. After reading all this, I kind of want to go look at Subtractem. If you guys know Subtractem, he's kind of like one of the big brain content creators on hexes and dooms and Bane. Like he plays Bane Occultist. He's like the guy for Bane. So I wonder what he thinks of all this. I haven't really played curses in a long time, so all this is kind of like whatever to me. I don't really understand the effects of it. Essence of Delirium now provides 6 different chance to block spell damage. For amulets, previously hexes you inflict have +10 max doom. The legacy hexes you inflict have +5 max doom. Essence modifiers on existing rings have been replaced with 5% increased effective curses. The hexes you inflict have +10 max doom. Essence modifier amulets have been replaced with 10% increased effective curses. Man, reading all this out loud is making me winded. Okay. Hexblax has had its skill mechanics and damage adjusted to account for the loss of Doom scaling. So its damage is more consistent because you don't need to wait for Doom to build up. Okay, so it got a small damage buff, but it now casts. It takes longer to cast, costs more mana. 100% more damage with hits if enemy is hexed. Interesting. The spell's cast time is added to its cooldown if triggered and removes a hex after damaging. It also has 340% effectiveness instead of 310. So overall, I think that's a pretty big buff, especially the 100% more damage. That's a lot of damage. Okay, Doom Blast. Oh my gosh. I went from 1301 to 2481. Holy crap. It went from 200% effectiveness to 370. Bro, why can't we get some of this for melee? Where's our 370? Like, the only thing that has this much is Ice Crash, I think. And it's not even... I'd have to look it up, what the exact number is. But that's, like, the only melee skill that goes this high. Your hexes have infinite duration. Heretics went from +1 to +2. I feel like curse spots are going to be huge this league. Socket curse gems have 30% reservation instead of 20. Coast Breeze. So it got buffed defensively. That's pretty nice. Always poison on hit against cursed enemies. Previously 60% chance. $31 to $53 chaos res. Previously 17 to 29. That's pretty huge. The Youth Band's Trickery Helmet no longer grants this. Curse enemies which you hit with a random hex, ignoring curse limit? Holy crap. I think I'm playing curses. Alright, so now it's like, okay, so now that we gave you all this cool stuff for self-cast, now we're going to show you what automated curses look like, and I guarantee you it's going to be poo-poo. We've added penalties to Blasphemy and Hex Touch, which grant less curse effect at all gem levels. Additionally, item mods that inflict a specific hex no longer do so with increased effect. This includes items where the hex is meant to be a downside on the player, such as Coward's Chains, Coward's Legacy, or Soul Mantle. Interesting. Okay, so all this, it's pretty sizable, but it's also not because of everything else. We'll have to see how it plays out. Hexes applied by Bane now have 25% less effect. Uh-oh. First on hit, modifiers that appear in influence rings now only have a single tier, as both tiers are now identical. The level 80 version of the modifier is the one that hasn't been kept. Okay. Some hexes, like Vulnerability and Despair, are much more powerful than others. This is because hex on hit modifiers apply a hex equivalent to the level 1 version of the hex skill gem. Some hexes are very strong at level 1 relative to their level 20 power, because they scale in a more gradual way with gem level. This means that in some cases using hex on hit is too powerful, along its benefit of also applying hexes automatically. We are stabilizing the gem scaling rates of hexes in general. They should be twice as powerful at gem level 20 than they are at gem level 1. Pretty sizable nerf to punishment. So they took the 10% overkill damage is reflected from baseline and put it onto Divergent. I don't know how I feel about that. Pretty substantial nerf to LE weakness. Another nerf to flammability. Alright, so all these got the same nerf. Flammability, frostbite, and conductivity. They last a little longer at gem level 20. Like 1 second longer. Temp chains now lost about 2 seconds longer. That's kind of cool. Interesting. The Bane helmet enchant can no longer be obtained on Merciless. That's kind of lame. This is a pretty big nerf. So it went from 30% at you know, Uber Lab or whatever you want to call it, to 15. So got cut in half. 50% nerf. That's pretty large. It went from so the Eldritch modifier went from 36 to 16. That's rough. Eldritch on body armor used to be 20, went down to 12. Wow. And for Pinnacle Boss, not that anyone used that one, I don't think. It went from 36 to 18. That's rough. Another nerf here. Increased effective curses can no longer roll on Abyss Jewels. The small cluster notables went from 3 to 2. Shields went from 12 to 15, 8 to 12. The following curse cluster nodes have been reworked. Ability can affect hexproof, frostbite hexproof, conductivity hexproof. Okay, LA weakness hexproof. Okay, so all this hexproof. Your hexes can affect hexproof enemy stat has been moved from Profane Bloom to the Malediction notable. We will be renaming this notable as it no longer causes you to apply Malediction. The massive buff to hexes especially applies to occultists because they have access to more hexes than other ascendancies. The Malediction node got from occultist got moved to the normal tree. So it went from a 50% chance to explode. It went from 40 to 50% chance to explode. That's kind of cool. We are planning to increase the cursed, rare, and unique enemies have X% less action speed, modifier and temp chains, as well as increasing the cursed, rare, unique enemies deal X% less damage, modifier on enfeeble. To deal 15% less damage at level 1, previously 21, to 29 at level 20, previously 30. Now causes cursed or unique enemies to deal 9% less damage at level 1, previously 10, up to 18 at level 20, previously 15. So everything, almost all the curses don't provide increased effect. They now just provide curse duration. %15 less action speed at level 1, previously 20, up to 29 at gem level 20, and that's unchanged. 9% less action speed at level 1, up to 18 at level 20, previously 14. That's a pretty decent buff. Cursed enemies take 15% increased damage at gem level 1, previously 30, up to 30% at gem level 20, previously 39. Now it has attacks against cursed enemies have a 25% chance to inflict bleeding, previously 20. Attack hits against cursed enemies have a 0 to 10% chance to inflict bleeding, so 35% at max level. So that helps with you not needing a chance to bleed on your gear if you're applying vulnerability 100% of the time. Cursed enemies have minus 15 chaos res, up to minus 30 at level 20. So Anomalous Despair makes it so cursed enemies take 10% increased damage from damage over time. Endgame unique weapons. Yes. PoE's most iconic, unique, attack-based weapons have fallen out over the years. Unique weapons are not able to compete. True. While a fundamental aspect of PoE's itemization is that unique items will be outclassed by rares, in the cases of these iconic weapons, they get outclassed before they can be reasonably acquired. Also true. Alright, Azuri's Disfavor no longer has +2 of Socketed Gems. It now adds 310 to 330 and 370 to 390. Previously 205, so that's like a 50% increase, give or take. +10 weapon range? Holy cow. New versions of this unique have 30% quality? Oh, that could be interesting. I can't think of a good example right now for alternate quality attack gems, but that is interesting. +10 weapon range. Is Cyclone back? The Dream? No longer has 30% dot. Previously 50 to 60, 140. That's pretty huge. That's like another 50 something percent buff. 150 to 200. And then 170 to 220. That's like a 25% buff. And then this is pretty huge too. It's like a lot more. It's like 2.5 times more flat damage. 200 to 250 increased crit for spells as if you killed recently. Previously 125 to 175. That's pretty big buff. 60 to 100 crit multi if you haven't killed, and previously 40 to 60. It's 50% buff as well. Kingmaker 300 to 360 fizz, previously 140 to 240 or 190 to 240. That's pretty huge. The Katava's Feast unique axe. Socket gems are supported by level 30 melee splash. Hell yeah. Lionized Glare Bow. Wow. That's a huge DPS increase. Murray 500 to 600, previously 400 to 500. 25% buff. Savior. What? That's huge. It's like a 300% buff. That's nuts. Soul Taker. This is pretty huge too. Replica Soul Taker can no longer be obtained. Starforge, 400 to 450. Wow. 200 to 300. That's nuts. 100% buff on that. Oh, on the low end, and 50% on the high end. Void Forge no longer has 30 to 60% increased fizz. Existing versions are unaffected and now gain 700% of fizz damage as extra damage of a random element. That's nuts. No longer has 10% chance to shock. Now adds 1 to 600 to 750 lightning damage. Previously, that's absurd. And 100% of damage converted to chaos. Previously 60. Wow. Okay. Ah, that's interesting. The 60% increased life recovery on Flask on low life is now a Pantheon. Soul of Raslotha now provides any of you've hit have 50% reduced life regen. Add melee splash, access to the passive tree, and move the single additional strike there to the attack mastery instead of a specific node. That's kind of... The Tribal Fury notable passive skill no longer has strike skills target one additional nearby enemy. Melee strike skills deal splash damage to surrounding targets. Added a new attack mastery that provides strike skills target one additional nearby enemy, which replaces the strike skills target additional enemies can do so from 30% further away. The recovery provided by consecrated ground you create causes life regen to also apply to energy shield, and Pious Path is significant on its own, so having 50% increased effect of consecrated ground you create on top of this feels overboard. 50% increased effective consecrated ground you create is removed. I don't think that's enough to stop Righteous Fire. I'm surprised Righteous Fire didn't get nerfed. Well, we're not done with it yet, right? Now, here's the... Wait, Spectral Helix got nerfed before Lightning Strike? What? Well, Spectral Helix and Lightning Conduit are currently too strong at all stages of the game relative to other similar skills. We've lowered the damage of these two skills to bring them more in line. 60% damage nerf at level 1. 100% on the high end. That's a lot. It's pretty sizable nerf here. Like 30% nerf. 140% effectiveness from 190? That's rough. Ah, there it is. We changed the number of additional projectiles fired by Lightning Strike. It now requires more investment in additional projectiles for improved clear speed. Fires 2 projectiles at all gem levels from 7? What? Yikes. That's okay. Divergent Lightning Strike no longer fires projectiles? Wow. 20% chance to shock enemies, so it's useless. And they nerfed the helmet too. 1 and 2 instead of 2 and 3. Interesting. So they changed it from from regenerate to recover. I could see how that would get scaled with like regeneration rate. Historically, Onslaught itself has never been a buff and cannot be scaled by modifiers to buff effect, as its only effect is you have Onslaught, which isn't very sensible. Onslaught is now a buff, and modifiers to buff effect now apply to Onslaught. Nice. This includes Flask effect modifiers when Onslaught is provided through a Flask. As such, Flask effect modifiers are now able to roll on Silver Flask. Nice. Okay, I like that. Oh, here's the elusive nerf. Okay, so you can no longer reset elusive with Withering Step. That's kind of rough, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. I still think Nightblade support is on every single claw build, or like you play claw builds for Nightblade. Ancestor Totem buff effects linger for 3 seconds. Tainted Orbs of Fusing. Nice. We've changed the outcome odds for Tainted Orbs to be more favorable to match where they were in Scourge. That's pretty huge. Fracturing Shards are going to drop from Harbingers, so everyone from Harbingers, I'm calling it. It's going to be the money making. Okay. Some visual clarity in Cyrus's area. Yes, this ooze and infinite hunger is absurd. Nice. Reduce the rate at which you gain stacks of corrosive hunger. Bestiary party play. Additional captures of a beast when playing in a party are now rolled on a per player basis. Interesting. Oh no, too generous and unique maps offered. Ah, that's kind of lame. They reduced the rate at which Kirik offers good unique maps. Atlas memories now drop identified. Nice. We removed guaranteed road markers, drop from Act 6. Kirik's map mods in 320. Fortune favors the bold. Rogue Exile, Shrine, Breaches, Beyond. 3 additional Harbingers. Trust me, I'm calling it. This is going to be the strat. Ritual and Delirium. Shield Crush is now offered to Marauder for completing enemy at the gate. Volcanic Fissure is Siren's Cadence. Nice. Marauder, Templar, Duelist, and Scion. I don't know if I should go Volcanic Fissure or do Curse Things. Okay, Frozen is offered to Templar for completing Breaking the Seal and can be purchased by Templar, Marauder, Duelist, and Scion. Bloom support is Witch, Shadow, and Scion, and Eternal Nightmare in Act 4. UI stuff, we don't care. Bug fixes, we don't care. Oh, Xbox. Okay, so I thought they nerfed Hex Blast, but they didn't. They changed it. It was 280 in the original patch notes. It's now 340. It got nerfed on the low end though. Oh no, it was nerfed on. Okay, so Hex Blast got buffed. Nice. All right. So that's pretty much it overall. I'm pretty happy with the overall changes. I'm excited about curses. Curses are kind of cool. It's kind of lame they haven't done anything about melee yet, but I still have hope that it's coming. Maybe the new skill will be super OP. We don't have gem levels yet, so we don't know if the new gems will be OP or not. I'm gonna be doing a 30-hour stream on League Start Day. I'm gonna be going super hard in trade league instead of solo self-found because I want to experience the new uniques. Gonna try to make a melee build at some point in the league. Yeah, I hope this information was useful for you. A lot of good changes. The league mechanic looks really nice. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. I will be streaming every day when the new league starts at twitch.tv/Big Noah. I'll put the link down below. Yeah, stop by and say hi to me. Let me know what kind of content you're looking forward to in the comments below. And if you want to see more regular content updates for Path of Exile, just don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And that's pretty much all I have. And I'll see you next time.